YouTube. Yes, I don't know. I spent over an hour doing my hair. I should have recorded when it was still dawn. We had to clean the house, so yeah. Anyway, should I get the light here? Don't know. If I can make it work. I don't know why I'm talking like that. But anyway, hello YouTube. How are you? Friendly neighborhood crustaceans swimming over to you. Yes. Well, like I said, I spent a half an hour doing this. And bug. Anyway, so you guys seem to like fart stories and boob stories, and you need Jesus, okay? So this isn't something that happened to me personally, but it was something that happened to my grandma. And you know how grandparents are. They like telling the same stories over and over and over again. And I like telling the same stories over and over and over again too. So, let's see that. So, yes. So, well, if I tell you more than one story, tell you the story more than one time, just say, "Okay, Crustacean, you told us that story. How many times we have to hear this story?" And I'll be like, "I'm so sorry," and I'll tell you again, or try not to until I forget, because I do that. Anyway, I am an idiot today. Squirrel. Yeah. So, story. So my grandma was in church, and they were in church, and if you are somebody that's never been to church, I'll kind of explain it to you. What it is obviously church. Different churches do it differently, but usually once during the mid of the week, they have what they call a midweek service. And some churches have it on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, whatever. Normally they have it on Wednesday. And you go in, and sometimes the pastor will preach first, and sometimes they'll have prayer first. It just kind of depends. But the pastor, let's say the pastor has the prayer time first. So he'll say, "Does anybody have any prayer requests?" So if you have anything that is appropriate to share in mixed company, in a church setting, then you can be like, "Hey, please pray for my so-and-so, he's sick, please pray for this, please pray for that, da 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 da." And sometimes the pastor will ask if you have any praises, which is anything like you're thankful for, or anything you just kind of like, are like, yay, and that kind of a thing. Well, so my grandma was in the service, and there was a gentleman that was in the service with her, prayer time service, and a bunch of other people. And so they're in the service there, and he had been really sick. He had an appendix thingamajigger and appendix problem, and then he was better enough where he could be at church, but he still was pretty sick. So he was recovering from all of that. And sometimes when you're recovering from a procedure, get the cluster camera. Sometimes when you're recovering from a procedure, you can get a little gassy. And so he he was a little gassy, and my grandma was sitting there. Sometimes in the prayer time, people will pray individually, and sometimes they'll just pray silently, and somebody else will lead, and sometimes they'll take turns. Well, Grandma had taken her turn, in praying, and she had said something like, "Thank you, Lord, that we can make a joyful noise," which is a biblical way of saying that, we can, if you don't know, is we can praise, or we can say thank you, or we can worship, or these kind of things. So she said, "Thank you, Lord, that we can make a joyful noise." And as she was saying that, the poor guy ripped one. Now, and my grandma was I'm about a little bit over 5 foot, and she was about 5'4", 5'5", and she was about to weight for that size. But she was a real animated personality. Like, y'all might think I'm animated. Oh no, honey. She was animated. And once she got laughing, she could not stop. Like, it took forever for her to stop. I'm kind of that same way. Once I start laughing, if I really get laughing, I'll start laughing to the point that, like, I'm like, like, almost to the point of having an asthma problem. And my boyfriend's like, calm down, it's not that funny. I'm like, it really is. But anyway, so she started laughing, and I mean, I'm sure the poor guy, he was probably terribly embarrassed, and I'm not making fun of him, and I don't think she was either. It was just super funny. It was like, thank you, Lord, for a joyful noise. I mean, anybody would laugh. I mean, if you're gonna be all judgy, anybody would laugh. So, I mean, poor guy. He was probably terribly embarrassed. And he couldn't help it because he had just been really sick and stuff. And he was just coming off from all of that and being sick. And so, but yeah, anytime she told me about it, she would just start laughing to the point, like one time she literally laughed so hard, she fell out of the chair. And I was like, Grandma, you're 80, you know, don't do that. And yeah. So I hope you guys found that funny. I'm trying to do more lighthearted stuff right now, especially with everything that we have kind of gone through in the last little bit. And, you know, and I know a lot of people are still really upset about the election and whatnot. So just be nice to one another. If you're going to protest still, that's your freedom. Just do it peacefully. Don't hurt anybody. Don't hurt anything. But thanks for watching, guys. My thankful thought for this video is I'm thankful that we can make a joyful noise. Alright. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.